Up in the sky, is it a bird? Is it a plane? Is it SuperDude's list of possible new characters for Injustice 2? Man, you know it is, because you came here from the other video, so thank you. Unless you didn't, then this is an awkward intro. What's going on, YouTube? It's your friendly neighborhood SuperDude. You thought I was going to say Spider-Man, but I didn't. That's Marvel. We're talking about DC, specifically Injustice 2. Hashtag Green Ranger for Injustice 2. Anyway, also, small thing I want to mention. Hashtag Red Hood for Injustice 2. We're going to be talking about that in a minute. But I want to talk about my picks for, Injustice 2 new characters. Now, if you watched my last video, I talked about all the characters I thought would or would not be returning in Injustice 2 from Injustice 1. Like, I went through DLC, I went through the main roster, and gave my thoughts and my reasons as to why, I thought they wouldn't be showing up. This time, I'm going to do something a little different. I'm going to be giving my overall thoughts on who I want, on who I believe will be new characters. Some of these will be characters who I want to see. Some will be characters who I don't want to see, but who I believe will be in anyway. Now, I have on my phone a list of that I wrote down and found. I had some people message me people that they thought Now, this video's been planned, unlike some of my other videos that are just random spouts of gibberish. But it's very interesting to think about who new could be showing up. Because if you think about it, we never really know until, and I know this is going to sound stupid, but we never know until we know. For example, Blue Beetle. Like, everybody assumed Blue Beetle was going to be in, but it was still a cool reaction on the internet when Blue Beetle was announced. But I think I've wasted enough of my super friends' time here in the Fortress of Brovitude. We're gonna get right into this list. Now, number 1 on this list, who do I think is gonna show up? Swamp Thing. And I think Swamp Thing is gonna show up for the same reasons that I think that everyone on that a few of these people on this list are gonna show up. Is that Swamp Thing has fan popularity at play for him. Swamp Thing is one of those characters who has the fans working for him. He has a huge fan base, and he was number 1 in the poll of who do you want to see make it in Injustice 2. So Swamp Thing, obviously. Now, character number 2, who I think is gonna be in it. Red Hood. For the same reason as Swamp Thing. Red Hood is one of those highly demanded characters, and he would be a very simple, very obvious, very yes choice across the board for Injustice. Now, at the end of this, I'm going to be giving my thoughts on who the 10 DLC characters are going to be. Just my random dark in the shot in the dark predictions of who's going to be DLC. And I'm going to go with 10 because that's the number that we've been given. Because like they said last year, like they said, Ed Boon did in an interview, Injustice had 6 characters, or Mortal Kombat 9 had 4 characters, and Injustice had 6. Mortal Kombat X had 8. So you can kind of see where we're going with that. Where they're going with that. So that's where everybody said Ultra Street Fighter 4. That's where the 10 comes from. But moving on. Static Shock, I think will show up simply because if you play the Injustice mobile game, there's a version of Static Shock in there, so it's clear they can do it. It's clear they can make him. They just got to put him on the big screen, so to speak, and have him be in Injustice 2. Now, the next two are Batman characters, so I'll mention them side by side. Killer Croc and Scarecrow. Now, Killer Croc because of the Suicide Squad movie, which is also where a couple of my picks for the DLC will come from. And the Scarecrow because of his cameo in Injustice 1. He's an environmental hazard in the Arkham Asylum stage. And he's very interesting overall. It's very interesting overall. It'd be cool to see the sort of nightmarish effects that Scarecrow would be able to pull off. But that's really the only other Batman villains I see making it. Like, I don't see Two-Face, I don't see the Riddler, I don't see Penguin or anybody like that. I don't even see Bane coming back. But Killer Croc and the Scarecrow, I see making a return. Now, this is a bold prediction on my part. Kilowog, the big Green Lantern, the big dude, I see him being put in because he's a very popular Green Lantern. He's a very, like, right next to, like, Hal Jordan and Guy Gardner and one of them who's escaping me, Kyle Rayner. He is a very popular Green Lantern. I don't think Kyle Rayner was a Green Lantern. He may have been. I'm not up to 100% date on my Green Lantern. Everything changes so much it's hard to follow, but and again, I wrote this list, some of them before Injustice 2 was announced, so some of the people I thought were going to be in it, like Supergirl, Gorilla Grodd, Atrocitus, have made it already. Blue Beetle was on that list, and he was just announced. But Ultra Street Fighter 4. Excuse me. I pardon that interruption. But the next character on my list will be Dr. Fate. Now, I think Dr. Fate has a huge shot of being in this game. I feel like I feel like Atrocitus has the biggest, or not Atrocitus, Dr. Fate has the biggest chance out of anybody who is a background character who isn't already in the game of being in this, who isn't already in the game announced. Dr. Fate is, like, hugely requested. I believe that we're going to get Darkseid also, simply because I feel like he's going to be the replacement for Doomsday. I mentioned that in my last video. I feel like we're going to get Atom Smasher for some reason. Like, I have a weird feeling about Atom Smasher. I'm trying to move through this list. I feel like we're going to get... I feel like we're going to get Black Canary in there somewhere. Simply because of her popularity that's risen in recent time due to, again, that in the Flash TV show. Now, I feel like there are some characters who I'm obviously not naming because I'm going to name them as my 10 DLCs, but just bear with me. I feel like we're going to get Starfire on main roster. I have this weird sort of, like, naggy feeling that we're going to get Starfire for the Injustice 2 main roster. I'm sure all of these are not going to make it. And there's Ultra Street Fighter 4 again. Hold on, let me see if I can fix that for you. There we go. Okay, sorry about that, guys. I had to fix that. It was bugging me. Now, I feel like, and a lot of these characters I'm naming, I don't really have a good reason for. I just feel like I've got this like weird left elbow itch about them. And for those of you who don't know, I know that's a weird phrasing, but for those of you who don't know, whenever I have a gut feeling, my left elbow starts to itch. Like I'm like, oh no, something bad's gonna happen. And so you'll hear me say that a lot on this channel. Is my weird left elbow itch about these characters. Now, that's all I can immediately come to mind about new characters in this game. But here's who I think are the 10 we're going to be getting. I believe the 10 we are going to get are Superboy, Sub-Zero, because Mortal Kombat, Black Mana, simply because people are mad that he's only a stage transition. And if you say that stage transition characters or backstage characters can't be DLC, remember what happened to Martian Manhunter. He was a stage character, and he became a DLC character. I feel like Black Mana is going to be made. So we have Black Mana, we have Sub-Zero, we have... and these are not written down in any manner. Superboy, I should probably write them down as I'm talking, so I'm not constantly stumbling over everything I'm saying, because I know that can get aggravating. In fact, here's what I'm gonna do. I'm writing these down as I'm saying them. So we got Black Mana, Sub-Zero, Superboy. I feel like we're also... Excuse me. I feel like we're going to get a Red Arrow, aka Arsenal, in there. I feel like we're going to get Zoom. Spawn. I feel like we're going to get Spawn in it. I'm trying to remember the character's name. Excuse me. Some form of Watchman character. So where are we? We got Superboy, Black Mana, Sub-Zero, Arsenal, Zoom, Spawn, some form of Watchman character. I have this weird feeling that the Joker is going to be in there. Katana from Suicide Squad. Enchantress from Suicide Squad. And Deadshot from Suicide Squad. Now, I feel like the Suicide Squad movie is going to have an influence over DLC for some reason. I feel like we're going to get a lot of Suicide Squad characters in this game. It would make sense. Now, Deadshot, Enchantress, Katana, out of all three of those, my number one would have to be Katana. And that's not the Mortal Kombat version of Katana. I just have this weird elbow itch feeling about Joker. I feel like we're going to get a Watchmen character of some sort. I can't remember his name. Rorschach. There we go. Rorschach, I feel like we're going to get. And Spawn as guest characters. Spawn and Rorschach. I feel like Zoom is too popular to leave out. I feel like Arsenal would be a cool, sort of out of left field character. Sub-Zero, because you're going to have a Mortal Kombat character, so just get over it. Black Manta, based on everybody being upset that he is a stage transition at this point. And Superboy, I don't know. Superboy just because. I feel like Superboy is going to replace General Zod, because General Zod was a DLC last year. I feel like we're going to get Superboy this year. But there you have it, folks. There's who I think is going to be new to Injustice. I'm sure there's going to be more coming down the line. I'll probably think of more later on, but for right now, that's it. So, as always, if you're new to this channel, please super subscribe, leave a super like, and leave a super comment down below about what do you think of my new character ideas. Who would you personally have if you were making this game? And just comment what you would want me to do next. But as always, you guys have been super friends. I've been SuperDude from the Fortress of Brotude, and you know where it's located, right outside Angel Grove, with the off-ramp, on-ramp to Suplex City. A decent drive from Metropolis. And until I see you next time, guys, hashtag Green Ranger for Injustice 2, hashtag Red Hood for Injustice 2. Up and away.